bruh. I didn't want to work on the ASCII file, so I'm gonna go ahead and just check out master. And I'm gonna fetch. I even have some changes that I don't give a fuck about. We introduced Louis and shit. My god. I remember that ASCII file was actually super easy to implement because we have everything needed there. Alright, so maybe I'm gonna commit some of this. Fuck it. Git reset minus hard. So, and we're gonna fetch the latest changes. I'm gonna fetch the latest changes, chat. Are you excited? Are you fucking excited? You better be excited. If you're not fucking excited, I'm gonna ban you all from the chat. That is mother flipping right. Mother flipping right. So better be fucking excited. So, and we didn't fetch anything, so that means I didn't update anything. So, yeah, there we go. So yeah, everyone is banned now. Everyone is mother flipping banned. So the thing is, I need to somehow implement my entire shit in terms of the taking into account the situation when the database can be blocked. This is actually a pretty difficult problem. And the problem is I have several threads that work with the database, and the database that we're working with is SQLite, and SQLite is really bad with concurrency. It's extremely fucking bad with it compared to other databases, of course, that were designed to be used in distributed systems. In distributed systems, this one is fucking out. It's designed to be used like with a single connection mostly. Well, it has capabilities of, you know, multiple readers, writers, multiple connections, but at any moment this shit can be blocked and there's nothing you can do about that. Bruh. So what I'm thinking about, chat, is that maybe I'm gonna create a bottleneck, right? So the main problem here is that I have a thread that is responsible for the logic of the bot, the main bot thread, right? It's fucking drawing time, chat. Fucking drawing chat. Time. I'm gonna apply. I can speak, I'm sorry. So, thing is, you have a bot thread and you have a REPL thread. So for those who were attending previous KG Podcast streams, you probably know what I'm talking about. Our bot has REPLs. Maybe I have to demo that shit. Sounds like a good idea. I have to demo that shit. And bot and REPL are fucking trying to work with the same database. They're trying to work with the same database, right? Bot, REPL, blah, blah, blah. The same database, and because of that there could be situations that one database is blocked, even though there is a mod called wall that allows readers like multiple readers while somebody is writing. It doesn't help. There will be still situations when it's going to be blocked, and especially we need multiple writers. So I'm thinking maybe I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of performance in that sense and just, you know, make it like that. Basically, if REPL needs to modify something from the database, it will send that shit to the bot, and bot will sort of schedule that modification for the REPL, and it's going to resolve a lot of problems. So the bot will sort of kind of going to be like a central hub of modifying the database, and yeah, especially in the case of several REPLs, it's going to simplify the situation even more dramatically. So yeah, bot can have several REPLs. Bot can have several REPLs. And one problem that I have, okay, so through REPL I can add commands. I can simply add commands. Add CMD, right? It will be sent to the bot, and the bot will actually modify the database and will put that command there. But the question is, how then later I will notify the REPL that the command was added, because I want to log some kind of a message that is saying that command has been added or something like that. And furthermore, what if REPL needs to not only write shit into the database, but also read from the database? So reading, if you have this kind of like a bottleneck, reading from database becomes pain in the ass. So I still cannot decide how I'm gonna handle all of that. So in case of the blocked database, REPL can wait until it's unblocked or something like that. Oh, maybe, I have no idea. Chat, I have no idea. Literally, I have no idea. Can we spin lock on the database until it's unlocked or something? Anyway, so the thing is, I need to do a bunch of testing. Maybe I should finally use a proper database. That could be the case. That could be the case. PostgreSQL or something. But I don't want to fuck with setting up. Complex environment. Complex environment. So where is my KGBot shit? Hello, Jalandrade. Welcome to the stream. SQL compiled with multi-thread mode was thread safe. I'm not talking about thread safety. I'm rather talking about the situation when the database can be locked. It has nothing to do with thread safety. So yeah. So let's create a separate branch for this kind of stuff. So where is this stuff? Can we make... No, this is not. Lock, where's the issue? The database is blocking when the messages are coming in too quickly. I think I actually resolved that. Well, 58. Okay, so the issue is actually 58. There we go. The issue is actually 58. Okay, let's demo this shit. My guide, Kozovu, subscribed with the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime and welcome to our epic PHP club. Yes. You thought you subscribed to a Haskell channel? Well, you got debated. You now have a PHP mod. Jesus. So yeah, welcome to the PHP club. This channel is not about Haskell. I'm really sorry. It's about PHP. Got debated. You got debated. You got debated. You just got debated. Arch. Hello Arch. Welcome to the stream. The previous, the last actual PHP stream was on April Fool's last year. Should I do another PHP stream on the April Fool's this year? I mean, it's the second joke, like the same joke second time. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. Like I programmed in PHP and it was surprisingly underwhelming. It's just a boring ass language for day-to-day boring crud web job. That's what it is. It's just, it's a very mundane language. Like what? There's nothing exciting about it whatsoever. So, anyways, what are we doing? How are you surprised about that? Well, I hope at least it's gonna be like so weird and quirky that it's almost impossible to program in without, like, you know, messing up something on your computer horribly, unreversibly. I was expecting something like that. Like at least some kind of fun, some kind of destructive fun. In that particular sense, Node.js is even more fun than PHP in my opinion. But PHP just works and it's boring. It's just, there's just boring. Yes. It's like as boring as Java. Like, yes, it's just a regular old, you know, boring ass language. There's nothing interesting about it. So PHP just works. What's funny is that you can still get something horribly wrong in PHP, but it wouldn't be immediately apparent. It wouldn't be immediately apparent. But I want a fun right here, right now. So for me, it should be immediately apparent, and it should delete something from my computer. Anyway, so what I wanted to say, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm trying to focus on this kind of shit. What am I trying to do? I don't know. I should focus. I should stop distracting myself. No concurrency, no fun. Yeah. Wasn't there a GHC release that deleted source files on compiler error? I'm not familiar with that meme. I'm sorry. So we managed to compile this shit. So now we should be able to run this shit. How about that? xz kgbotka. And what kind of parameters I have to provide there? I have to provide the configuration. I forgot how it's called. It's probably JSON. And the database, and we're going to use the database. And here comes the fun part. The bot has been started, but it's not saying anything in the chat right now. Well, I mean, there is a bot in the chat, but it's a different instance of the bot. So there's no way to make the bot react to anything, and there's no way to interact with the bot. It just connected to the Twitch server, and that's it. So for that, we have a special interface called REPL. For new people here, guess how you access the REPL of the bot? Guess how you do that? REPL of the bot is literally just a TCP port that listens to your connections and listens for text that you can send there. So you can literally do netcat localhost 6969, and you just connect it to the REPL of the bot that is running in the machine. As a matter of fact, you can do that several times, and it will maintain several concurrent connections. It will do that. After you connect it to the REPL of the bot, you do something like join channel sorting, and you can see that, yes, it in fact joined that specific channel, and then inside of that channel you can say hello from your personal KGB agent, smiley face. And it in fact said that in the chat. So this is how you interact with the bot through the REPL that listens to the TCP connections. It listens only to the local TCP connections, no external ones, for security reasons, right? Because I don't know how to do proper authentication anyway. And encryption, no authentication, no encryption. Maybe we will introduce some kind of authentication. It's actually pretty interesting. Android Studio comes with an Android emulator. Believe it or not, Android emulator is based on QEMU. It's based on QEMU, and I'm not sure if that's a feature of QEMU or the feature of Android emulator. But the thing is, that emulator listens to the TCP port the same way we do here. As a matter of fact, I got inspired by Android emulator to introduce that feature. So it listens for the TCP connections, and you can connect through Telnet or Netcat and just then manage the Android emulator. And as far as I can understand, it was made so it's easier for third-party tools to integrate with Android emulator and send command to the Android emulator. Through that REPL, you can start up some application inside of the running emulator. So we have a running emulator, you connect to the TCP port and you say command run that application, it will run it inside of the emulator. And I think this is the interface that maybe some IDEs can use, but IDEs probably use there is ADB something, some bullshit Android, whatever. The point is, that REPL has authentication. You know how it authenticates you? When emulator starts up, it creates a file in the home folder with the token. And when you connect to the TCP port, you have to provide that token that it created on your file system. So, which means you have an access to REPL only if you have a physical access to the machine that you run in that emulator on. If you don't have that physical access, you cannot perform those commands. And that sort of enables opening the port to external machines, right? You can open it, and if somebody doesn't have a physical access to the machine where the program is running, they won't be able to connect because they cannot obtain that token. So this is sort of a way they authenticate. And maybe we can implement something like that as well, because it's an interesting idea. Have you heard about Ghidra debug port running on 00 on all ports? No, I haven't heard. Is that... Wait. Is that intentional? No, I haven't heard about that. I mean, what did you expect from a tool developed by NSA? Like, seriously, it is not even a joke. It's a tool developed by NSA, and NSA just open sourced it because they don't need it anymore. Maybe they got something better. What did you expect from NSA? Seriously. There you go. So, for those who doesn't know, Ghidra is a reverse engineering tool. Oh my god. This one. It's a reverse engineering tool developed by NSA. Suite of tools developed by NSA Research Directorate in support of the cybersecurity mission. Yeah. So I guess they developed a new tool which is better, and they just open source this shit for children to play. I don't know. But people say it's quite good. People say it's quite good, and I think I should try it. It's written in Java though, which kind of indicates that it's an old-ass tool, because a trend of writing desktop Java application has passed like almost 20 years ago. like nobody writes desktop applications in Java. But it used to be a huge trend. Used to be like a fucking huge trend, and there's still a lot of desktop software written in Java from that trend era, and Ghidra is apparently one of them. It's just it was probably following the trend. It was just following the trend. You know, reverse engineering. Well, I know such word. I know what that word means. That makes me a hacker, right? Yes. Anyway. So, what are we doing, chat? What are we doing? What are we doing? What's funny is that, okay, so there are still modern applications written in Java that are desktop applications. Who can name me the most popular Java desktop application? The most popular Java desktop application. Well, I guess, I mean, depends on the definition of application, right? Right. I was waiting for somebody to say IntelliJ IDEA. Apparently it does not. Well, yeah, okay, so it all depends on the definition. Depends on the definition of application. I see. The thing about IntelliJ IDEA is that, well, at least I had IntelliJ IDEA in my mind. I'm not sure if I'm correct by saying that it's the most popular desktop application. Because, again, what do we mean by application? Is the game application? Technically, yes, probably. In that case, it's Minecraft. But the thing about IntelliJ IDEA is that it's using Swing for UI. Yes, it's kind of like strange, like, because Swing is associated with something old and ugly. And IntelliJ IDEA is nothing but old and ugly. And it uses Swing, which is kind of interesting. Maybe it doesn't use swing anymore, but it's at some point I actually checked its source code and I remember it used swing. SAP, I know nothing about SAP, so maybe it's the most popular. Considering the size of the enterprise, it's probably maybe SAP, yeah. Swing feels like I'm on Apple too. Yes, Swing, the default look and feel of Swing is fucking ugly. This is the ugliest shit I've ever seen in my life. Especially the fonts. The rendering of the fonts in Swing is fucking disgusting. My god. But what's cool is that you can customize that look and feel. You can customize that, and as you remember correctly, IntelliJ IDEA took advantage of that at some point to make it look good. Do they still use Swing? I have no idea, but at some point they did. Oh yeah, that's a good question. What is ugly, Tkinter or Swing? Yes. What about Motif? Who remembers that shit? Was fucking ugly. I don't know. Motif is not that ugly, to be fair. It looks outdated, but not really ugly, I think. It just looks outdated. No, it's not. Oh, fuck. Breakthrough tech. That's definitely... It's so old, nobody remembers it. GUI. Was it somehow written differently? Oh, fuck. Software refers to graphical... Yeah, here it is. It's so old, nobody remembers this shit. Ah, yes, it's... Here it is. It's really close to Tkinter, to be fair. I wouldn't say it's that ugly, to be fair. It's not that ugly. It's better than Swing. It's better than Swing. Their tasteless use of gradients makes me want to vomit. You know, like children try to do design in Word or something, like absolutely tasteless use of gradients. That's what Swing is. This, at least it's like has flat colors and a little bit, it tries to make a little bit of volume with edges, which was popular at 90s, and yeah, it's understandable. It's just, you know, it's stuck its own edge, but it's not as ugly as Swing. I fucking hate Swing. Like default look and feel of Swing, I mean. Anyway, says the guy who used i3, right? So, what are we doing? Oh, I think I can safely say that my Emacs looks good. At least good enough. At least it's not as ugly as Swing. Okay. So, if I manage to make my Emacs look less ugly than Swing, that means I accomplished my mission. That means I accomplished my mission. So, and I guess I can quit this shit already. Okay. What I wanted to do, chat, I wanted to test, you know, to stress test this bot yet again. I wanted to stress test it. And to do that, I will need to actually print some logs. I'll need to print some logs. Can I have some logs, chat? Oh my god. I don't have enough space on my screen, chat. You know, I don't really need this window. I might as well actually fold this entire thing into tabs. Like that. You see, now I just have tabs, and I don't care about that window that is running the ball right now, but I do care about this window that will probably print backdoor and Twitch log information. So there is a Twitch... Oh, by the way, here's the interesting thing. If you take a look at the backdoor.log, you will notice that it logs everything you put into the repo. It logs everything, and also logs when somebody was connected, at what time, through what IP, and yeah, so it logs every interaction. And I think it's quite important for this kind of feature. So if something goes wrong, you can then look at the backdoor log and see if somebody connected and tried to do something. So we consider that an audit log. Is it already sent to KGB? Yes, of course, everything is already sent into the KGB. But what we're interested right now in is Twitch log, basically the log of the messages from the Twitch connection. So here it is. If you say something, it hears that. You see? You see how it automatically sent to the KGB servers. So everything you say is automatically sent to the KGB servers. Yeah, right here, right now. So, and what's cool is that I'm just, you know, printing what's in the file and just logged in the file. So this is one of the features. You can look at the files if you want to, and if you don't want to, you can not look at them. So, but the program itself is headless and it doesn't print anything on the standard output whatsoever. So you can safely run it in a Docker and, for example, point it to log to some folder that is mounted to the Docker container, and then you can inspect those files or something. Yeah. So, okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to look at the Twitch logs. Tail -f. Is anybody with a fast chat streaming? Somebody like Forcin. Is Forcin streaming right now? I remember Forcin was streaming right last time when I was streaming. So is Forcin yes, this is beautiful. So Forcin is streaming, in fact. So we can use his chat to test this shit out. Okay. So right now we only connected to Zozin channel. We only connected to Zozin channel. Team the Taman. But it's not about the amount of viewers, it's about how fast the chat moves. To be fair, Forcin's chat is actually pretty slow today. Okay, maybe we can actually take that copy selection. So it doesn't really feel that fast. We need something disgusting slow chat. So who's that? Who's that? I have no idea who's that. Do they have a fast chat? Okay, not bad, not bad. Okay, I think I can use that. Oh, by the way, that thing about you know, reminding me to update my Chitirina didn't work. Aguduk, I'm sorry, it didn't work. I just remembered about it because I needed that feature right here, right now. So yeah, let's join this channel and see what's gonna happen. Is it follower only? Yes, it is follower only, so that means our bot is not gonna, you know, interfere with any of this shit. And I don't really receive much information from that channel. And I have no idea if what's going on. I don't receive anything. That's weird. Because I joined it incorrectly. Join. Join, and I have no idea what happened, but okay, ls finally, and we're finally receiving some shit from that connection. We're finally receiving some shit. It's not fast enough, in my opinion. It's not fast enough. But what's funny is that now I can, maybe if I join both of them, because our bot is capable of joining several channels, right? So if I now join also Forcin, now we are receiving shit from two connections simultaneously. What's funny is that it kind of hiccups a little bit, but overall it still responds to my messages super quickly. So if I add command foo bar, it managed to add that command, I suppose. And if I put it here, it says bar. Bitrate. I can hide it. So add cmd foo bar. I should actually use like a real wrap. What if somebody will call these commands from Forcin chat? They all are in follow mode. They all are in follow mode, so it doesn't really matter. That's the point. That's the point. And okay. What's funny is that we can actually, you know, let them run in the background for some time, and the bot will try to collect some data. Oh, it's kind of interesting. It's also probably updating the Markov chain model. It's also updating the Markov chain. So I wonder if I can do something like Tarkov now. It doesn't even have Tarkov. Oh, yeah, it does have it. Okay, I see. Что? Russian, by the way. It's an attempt to emulate Cyrillic characters in that, whatever. It's probably from one of this channel. Any doubters? Any doubters? Yeah, cursed Russian. Tarkov. PogChomp saved. Yeah, what's funny, like, it's still running. Does it consume that much of the resources? Surprisingly, we're listening to 2 popular channels. And... fucking forced in chat. What does this bot do? It's molding. That's what it does. So it's basically molding. Maybe we should stop listening to these streamers. Yeah, we can just join this one and part it, and join forcing and part it. Okay, and yeah, then connect it. I have a channel you can use, Twitch Media QS10. Is that a good channel for this kind of shit? Is that a good channel? Well, let's find out. Something is terribly wrong with what I'm doing. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, NC. I forgot what I was even doing. So you could have actually given me the name, and I cannot. It's very. I'm not gonna do that. Whatever. So I need to come up with a different shit, with a different approach. So maybe for now, if the connection is blocked, right, for Ripple, we're gonna just simply ignore it, right? We're gonna just simply say something like, database is locked, please wait a little bit. But so far it worked okay, and I haven't really encountered any blockage. So yeah. When I opened that channel, my PC froze very fast. It's true, you can definitely... So you mean... Oh, really? Okay, so if you guys saying that it's a super fast channel, let's go there, I don't know. Okay, you got me curious. If several people say that it's a good channel to test shit out, we should probably try it. KG Vodka. We might as well also first open it in Chatirina, right? Let's open it in Chatirina to, you know, to estimate the spamarina. Jesus fucking Christ. That's a good one. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm gonna do tail f twitch.log 6969 join. And I have to actually copy paste it first to Emacs because my Chatirina does not handle this kind of thing, and then I can join this shit. My god. Okay. So let me take a look at the htop. Alright, htop is not really that bad. What about the forests? Okay, so this is the database. Is it updating? I don't see database updating that much. Log is updating, but not the database. Okay, so if I try to add hui, command. I always forget about aerial wrap. Hui. And it's disconnected, probably because the database was actually locked. Yes, we probably hid the situation when the database is in fact locked. But the question is, did it really add anything to the database? Yeah, this was the point to stress test the bot. I think in terms of like handling, maybe this bot is even better than Hypernet. I'm not really sure if Hypernet will be able to handle that, because I had to add a lot of measures to handle this kind of like this much of data that were not added to Hypernet. So Hypernet may not even able to handle this kind of stuff. Let me see. The Tarkov memes. If DB is not a dating but log file, is it indicated that you need to commit a transaction? Probably it creates a huge transaction right now. So it handles the messages in chunks, in bulk. That's what it does. So yeah, let me try to open empty-db, which is not empty anymore. It contains all of the data. Table, and can I select something from command? Surprisingly, look at that, chat. I'm still able to read from the database. That's the interesting part here. I'm still able to read from the database. We're not hacking anything, by the way. Go away. Yeah. So this is pretty much the point of wall, right? Right ahead logging. So you can have multiple readers while somebody is writing. Which is kind of cool. But you cannot have multiple writers. For example, if I insert into command values, something like 1 and hui, I probably won't be able to. Yeah, it will say database is locked. So yeah, maybe it would be better to not even log anything into the database. But logging into the database is actually such a cool idea, because then you can use those logs to look back in history. For example, for new command. This is one of the advantages of the new command. Because yeah, you can basically look back infinite amount of time, and based on that make some decisions. Is it really that slow? Let's actually check it. Tarkov. It's the reason why it's slow. It's probably waiting until your message, so it has a huge queue. Oh, and another interesting thing. What if we connect it right now, localhost 6969? So what's the thing? Let's cd to this one, and let's see how long it will take to stop logging this here. So we'll see how much it actually buffered of the messages. Still logging. It's still logging them, even though we parted that channel. So no, we didn't. Yeah, because when you part a channel, bot also waits for the confirmation that you parted the channel, so it didn't get to the point where it handled that confirmation yet. That's why it didn't immediately do that. So yeah, that's very, very fucking interesting. It starts to become more and more apparent that maybe logging the messages into the database is just not a great idea. What if we only log them into the file? Just only into the file. Yeah, KGB received too much info. Because the reason why, like, I really want this bot to be scalable, but at the same time, it would be great if the whole state of the bot was just a single database. That would be actually pretty great. But overall, SQLite 3. So let's take a look at the database. Oh my god. So the size of the database so far is 3 megabytes. Not that bad, plus 4 megabytes. So it's around 7 megabytes. We already hit 7 megabytes of the data from that channel. If we do, like, for example, if we do Tarkov now, how, but what about Markov? Markov is faster. But the reason why Markov is faster is because we store the whole state of the Markov in the memory. So, but in Tarkov, we are actually, you know, every time you need to receive the next word, we make a next SQL query. So yeah, I was just trying to avoid holding the whole state of the Markov in the memory. That's what I was trying to do. Message from Tarkov, relational database. Exactly. Relational databases. That's what we're doing today. Interesting. Tarkov. It's kind of difficult to decide. Maybe I shouldn't care. Maybe, yeah. Maybe this bot will be reserved for personal usage only. We can say something like that. It's for personal usage only. So it's not supposed to be like a sort of distributed system to, you know, sit in the many channels and, you know. So it's just a personal bot. Maybe this kind of limitation is okay. Maybe this kind of limitation is okay. We'll see. The thing I want to implement right now, I want to just catch the database logged message, right? The database logged, and print something to the console and not, you know, disconnect from REPL at least. Just make the REPL say when the database is logged. I think for now it's going to be a good solution. Unless your chat is that thing that we connected to. I don't even remember where was it? Unless your chat is this. In the majority of situations, you will have an opportunity to modify the database. Furthermore, it can handle forcings chat, so maybe it's okay. Fastchat.txt. What is this stream, by the way? Twitch Media QS 10. What is that thing? This was an artificial load too. It would probably never need to handle something like that in the wild. I don't know. Wasn't that in the wild? I mean, how is that artificial if that's a legit Twitch channel? Wait, seriously? It's a channel for testing? Really? It's not real. What if you open it in a browser? Is it even possible to open? Does it play anything right now? Does it exist? That's weird. Let's actually Google that. It play. Oh, okay. One viewer, by the way. Oh god. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not gonna open it. My PC started to struggle instantly. My god. Okay, so, well, it's an artificial load. But at least it didn't crash it, and the bot was running okay. 3 viewers. But insane chat. There's just one account called testing that's constantly spamming messages. Ah, okay, that's actually pretty cool. I wonder if somebody ever tried to report that channel for not moderating chat or something. All right, so I'm gonna keep it. Thank you so much, by the way, Mutual Seduction. I think you suggested this channel, right? Who suggested this channel? Yeah, thank you. That's actually pretty epic. Epic channel. Didn't know about that. Gblazing93 subscribed with Twitch Prime. Jesus Christ. Thank you so much. Thank you. And yeah, welcome to our epic PHP club. You now have a PHP mod. Check it out. Oh, hello, Appa. I didn't see that you're there. Hello. You thought I really have this command? Okay. How do I catch when something is locked, when the database is locked? How do I even catch that? Let's go to Hackage. Do people still write PHP in 2020? Bruh, PHP is so fucking popular. So there's so many jobs in PHP, and there's so much legacy code in PHP that needs to be maintained, and how much more code needs to be written in PHP, considering things like Shopify and WordPress. Wait a second. Does Shopify uses PHP? I'm not really sure. I think it does. Yeah, so there's so much stuff that needed to be written in PHP. Because there are platforms like PHP platforms, like WordPress. Let me actually go. I don't know why, but I feel like Shopify is PHP thing. I think it is. It's insanely popular. The Canadian multinational e-commerce. PHP? No, whatever. SQLite. No, it's Ruby. Okay, sure. I don't know why I thought about Shopify for some reason. I'm stupid. SQLite simple. So yeah, if you came to programming for money, learn PHP. Unironically, seriously, it's actually will give you so much fucking money. My God, you'll swim in money. You will also slowly lose your consciousness, but that's the price you have to pay for money. Yes, of course, there's always a price. Not consciousness, sanity. You will slowly lose your sanity, but that's the price. So lock. Okay, so we have an error locked. And if you came to programming for fun, that means you already know what to do. So I know table in the database. A table in the database is locked. Table, but not the database. But when I'm logging, I'm not really reading anything from the commands. That's the thing. Okay, I guess there's a thing called SQL error. It has exceptions. I guess we need to learn how to catch exceptions. Does anybody remember how to catch exceptions in Haskell? I remember there was something. I remember there was even a function called catch. Catch. So it literally takes an effect that can throw an exception, and it also takes a function that accepts exceptions and performs another effect. So this is how you use it, by the way, chat. You catch read file. Yeah, warning couldn't open, blah, blah, blah. This is basically how you do that, believe it or not. You literally catch it like that. Catch it like that. And for example, if you are about to add a command, what you can do, you can catch, and then you can do exception. Do we have any log? I think hput strlen. Do I have, okay, so it's a REPL handle. Oh, and I can actually print all of that shit into REPL handle. I can simply show that stupid exception. And furthermore, I think I can perform eta reduction at this particular place. A boom, 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 and hopefully that shit will work correctly. Would you look at that shit? Would you look at that? Haskell is so cute. No, you are cute. You are breathtaking. That's right. Alright, so let's try to compile this shit. Brr, 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 brr. And you know, I forgot about a very important thing. I forgot to start my GHCID process, so I have no idea if my shit compiles properly or not. GHCID C Cabal version 2 REPL. Thank you, Arch, for 2,000 bitcoins. Mein Gott. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate that. That's epic. That's yeah, thank you. I am speechless. I haven't even made anything useful today, but yeah, I really appreciate that. So let's what I wanted to do, I don't remember. Cage Vodka. I wanted to check if my shit compiles or not. That's what I wanted to check. And would you look at that? It doesn't compile. It doesn't compile. I guess we need to fix that, I suppose. Okay, so ambiguous type variable A0 arise from the use of catch prevents the constraint exception from being solved. And if you complain about C++ template errors, look at the Haskell ones. Do you understand what Haskell wants from you from this message? Do you understand what it wants from you? I understand, but at what cost? I've been doing that for 10 years, and only because of that, I kind of vaguely understand what the shit it wants from me. As you've said many times, build tools in Haskell are shit. Well, what's funny is that's the message from the compiler, but I mean, you can say that compiler is a build tool, I guess. Basically. Add auto before it. What's fun is that in Haskell everything is automatically auto, meta automation. So I guess I have to use like a different function to extract the visual representation of. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Who are you? Exception is supposed to be showable, but why I can't show it? Why? Prevents the constraint exception. Probable fix use a type annotation to specify. So it cannot resolve the type. So we have to say, aha. So this is a constructor, and we have to, yes, we have to help it to understand what exactly we want from it. That's what we need to do, chat. It doesn't understand what we want from it. It cannot resolve the type. And to help it to resolve the type, I guess we'll have to say something like E depends. Text describing the error. So basically it cannot understand that it's SQL error. Oh, this button uses which language to write it? Oh. It even suggests a probable fix. What more do you want? To know. I wanted to actually apply a fix. If it can say what is a fix, why doesn't it apply the fix? I mean, it's a probable fix, right? So that means it's not sure. All right, whatever. SQL error. So, you know, see, it knows what's the error, but it doesn't even try to fix it. I guess I have to actually prefix this thing with SQL. Yeah, SQLite. So let's continue. Sorry. And what's next? Okay, and next we need to test it. Okay, I'm gonna kill the bot. Bot doesn't want to be killed, by the way. It's kind of weird. I wonder why. It is not reacting to what I'm doing. Maybe because it's trying to... Yeah. Oh, okay, now it's reacting. Let's run it. Doxed by Twitch, thanks for emote button. All right, now chat, we are ready to connect to the HAL. Are you ready to connect to the HAL? So first of all, I'm gonna connect to Tsoding. This is not HAL yet. I mean, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close, I gotta say. So then we're gonna connect to the HAL. We finally connected to the HAL, and let's try to add CMD. Hui. And it still works. It just said that, sorry, I cannot work with the database right now, but it didn't disconnect. You see? It still maintains the connection. You still can interact with it, but overall it says that it can do that. Surprisingly enough. Rocks. It's a pretty useful chat. Thank you so much. And it works 24/7, right? If I understand correctly, it works 24/7. So because I always struggle to test this bot when no big streamers are streaming at the moment, so I can use that. Now it's error busy. Maybe, well, I mean, maybe it's not watchable in that state. Maybe it's purely for testing, I guess. Big streamers. Okay, so now I can part this channel and it's keep writing. I wonder if I can now add something there. I still cannot add anything. I should be able to add now. Oh, now it's added something. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. So this is a pretty good solution for now. If we are blocking GNU busy, yeah, I don't know what it is, but I like the name of it. But the interesting part here is that we don't open a whole transaction for the REPL when the command is issued. We only open a transaction when it actually needed. We only open a transaction when it's actually needed. So maybe, like, it kind of makes sense because, for example, to join the channel, look, to join the channel, you don't connect to the database. So there's no point in opening the transaction or anything like that. So I guess I don't want to, like, I could fix that by just wrapping everything into the transaction, but sometimes it's just not needed. And you don't want to, you know, get, you know, not being able to part or join the channel just because your database is locked. Like, imagine you join to the channel that blocks your database and now you are incapable of parting that channel because the whole command handling is inside of the transaction. Yes, to unblock the database, you have to part the channel, but you cannot part the channel because parting requires making a transaction when in fact it's not needed. Does it make any sense? I think, yeah. So that's why like wrapping everything into the transaction is not a good idea. I think it's only, you know, yeah, it's actually basically the deadlock. Yes, that's what's funny. Like it's basically deadlock, but it's not really software deadlock. Yeah, you sort of soft lock. Yeah, you soft lock yourself because in games you have a notion of a soft lock, right? And I guess here you can also apply the notion of soft lock to software, because you soft lock yourself out of the parting the channel. Anyway, so and again, solution would be not store everything in the database, but the fact that you store everything in the database is actually so fucking cool, is it not? Right, the whole state of the application in the database is just a single file. You have one executable, which is the bot, and you have several states of that bot, and you can run that bot in several states. On top of the things, it has logging, like twitch.log and backdoor.log, right? Yeah, it does have those things, but those things are not state of the bot. They're just informational channels. They're just for your information, like monitoring of something. They're not the states because the bot doesn't read them. Bot purely writes them. Yes. And maybe we'll implement some kind of functionality that disables login whatsoever, but I don't think it's useful. So yeah, overall, I like the fact that it's just single executable and the state of the bot is just a single file. And for personal bot, personal, not the one that I'm supposed to share with other people, I think it's quite good. It's worth exploring the whole state in a single file further, though there are going to be obstacles, obviously. Yeah, probably. Maybe, I don't know, if you run into the situation like that when your database is basically DDoSed. Yeah, by the way, this is pretty much DDoS. That channel DDoSed the bot. Because we reach, how do you translate DDoS? What DDoS stands for? Distributed denial of service. Bot denied its services, so it is DOS. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, distributed way. DDoS is not distributed, right? Yeah, it was just denial of service. Yes, it was not distributed. But who knows? It depends on how this channel is implemented. Maybe it is distributed. We don't know. But I guess by distributed it means like several. Distributed would be if I connected several channels, like enough channels to actually, you know, lock my bot. Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, Twitch itself is decentralized. Or is it? Maybe not. I guess it doesn't matter. It's just rat-holing about the terms. Disk operating system. Yeah. A funny joke. So to make my life a little bit easier, maybe I'm gonna... But I don't want to make a wrapper. So the thing I can do is create some kind of a wrapper that catches my gut. Thank you for another 2,000 bitcoins. My gut. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, that's epic. Yes. DDoS myself right in the stream. Monkey2s. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This is because I'm so sorry. You know what? You heard the desktop audio was disabled completely. You heard the TTS from my headphones. That's the reason. So that's how you... Yes. It's coming from the headphones right now. So now what I need to do, I need to unmute my desktop sounds, and if I do something like that, it's crystal clear.
Dozing Jaroslav live on stream Pagdores.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up, by the way. Yes, and we can do the first one as well.
Pagdores.
Epic. So, we need a wrapper that implements something like that. But the problem is that we don't have a REPL handle. Where do we have a REPL handle? We have it somewhere here, so shouldn't be that much of a problem. Might as well just do something like that with transaction. Just put it here. But again, like, it's kind of difficult to enforce using this kind of thing. Like, enforce... because what if somebody forgets to do that and it will disconnect, and yeah. So it's kind of difficult to fix that problem once and for all. But we'll see how we can do that. We'll see how we can do that. Catch. With transaction, this is what we can do here. This is what we can do here. How would you actually write a hard sign using English letter only? I don't think you would, because that letter doesn't really represent any sound. So you just don't. A smiley letter is hard sign. I suppose. I'm not sure, like... I don't think there's a way to actually describe that. Maybe you can use like literal... There's a special language. Linguists use a special language to denote a very specific phonemes, right? Sorry, that was addressed to Agadug regarding... okay. Because it's quite interesting. How is that language called? Does anybody remember? Like, there's a specific like language where, you know, you can specify a transcription, like people, the thing that people use in transcription to, you know, IPA is called IPA. Okay, so I guess if you want to know, you know, show the actual pronunciation, maybe you need to use something like that. And there is no single phoneme associated with hard... International Phonic Alphabet, yeah. There's no single phoneme associated with a hard sign. It modifies phonemes. So basically, to show something, you will just use specific phoneme that you're supposed to say. But that letter just has nothing associated with it, absolutely, in any context. Yeah. I don't know why I keep answering your question, even though it was not addressed to me. I'm sorry. I don't know why. It's so weird, but I just wanted to keep answering it. So here we're gonna accept the thing. Is that you, Arch? Okay, that's interesting. Thank you, Anonymous Chair, for 3,000 beats. But you still didn't beat Arch because he gave 4,000. So yeah, but still, thank you. Thank you so much. It's a lot of beats today. What the hell is going on? I don't quite understand. Yeah. Interesting. Thank you so much, Anonymous. That's pretty epic. That's pretty epic. Anonymous. Wonder if that's the same Anonymous that from time to time gifts like 10 subs. Okay. Debated, by the way. Thank you, Anonymous. Thank you. Now equal for 4,000. Epic. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It's 1001 even. Yeah, I see. Okay, so okay, epic. I see. Because it was separated here and my brain didn't process it correctly.
You think I am actually going to lose to you?
Okay. I mean, I don't complain, but thank you. Thank you so much for 2019. Yes. Yeah. So, Twitch cannot track anonymous cheers as one cheer, but I mean, I can, so I remember that. So, rich studying, yeah, finally, I'm rich. Epic, so many bitcoins. Thank you so much. I forgot what I wanted. Oh yeah, so this with transaction is supposed to take function, right? And we're gonna put that function somewhere here, right? But the problem is, so this is basically what you're supposed to use for transactions between, like within the REPL, because it will catch what's happening there and automatically log it. But how can you enforce that? But do you really need to enforce it? That's a good question. What if we just put a huge try catch over the whole REPL and catch only SQL errors? Yes. Yeah, I know. A huge try catch. Yes, but we don't want to lose the connection when something goes wrong. And exceptions, like why? Who thought that exceptions were a good idea in Haskell, in a pure functional programming language? Stateless, pure functional programming language. Who thought it's a good idea? Like, exceptions are the most stateful thing that you can think of. It's so stateful, like it's a stateful mechanism, and they build it into the language. What's up, Noligor? What's up? I didn't know you were a fucking epic musician, Pok. Am I? Am I an epic musician? I don't think so. Well, I have like an unfinished, musical education, but I dropped the musical school at some point. Fun fact, I dropped musical school after I got a computer. Yeah, yes. So, yeah. So I'm so old that part of my childhood actually went without any computers whatsoever. I didn't have any computer, any internet, and the only entertainment I had is I was playing with dirt. So the second part of my childhood was actually with computers, and this is where when I decided that I want to be a programmer. And as you can see, I regretted it. Anyway, so sounds about right. Yeah, exactly. What's funny is that before I got computer, I was 100% sure I'm gonna be a fucking musician. Like, yes, I thought like this is my destiny, this is my career. Yeah, so I was playing in an orchestra. I thought I'm gonna keep playing it because after you finish education, you can actually get hired by the orchestra. So they first teach you. But then after some time, they will start paying you. So yeah, this is the career. But then I got a computer and I got like lost whole interest in all this shit. And yeah, fuck it. Epic Coding composing stream. I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't practiced for quite some time already. How did your parents react? They don't care, to be fair. Going to musical school, by the way, was my initiative. I wanted that, seriously, because I was interested in this kind of shit. And yeah, it was my decision. They don't really decide for me anything. And because of that, I'm really grateful for them. So yeah, all of my life decisions are my own, always. So I have great parents, really. They don't try to interfere with what I'm trying to do in my life, which is super great. So you want to be a musician? Yeah, go ahead. You don't want to be a musician anymore? Whatever. Just do whatever. Go ahead. And since in the music audio related open source contribution in the future, I don't know. You're not sensing anything. You're just new because we already done it a long time ago. So yeah, exactly. We actually developed a musical application in Rust, and you missed it. You actually missed epic musical application development in Rust. You missed it all completely. I also miss it. I kind of want to go back to that. That was actually pretty epic. That's unfortunate. Now you can't blame your parents for everything wrong in your life like the rest of us. Well, I don't know. You can always come up with an excuse to blame your parents, I think. If the parents don't tell you what to do, you can say they didn't protect you from your stupid decisions. And if they tell you what to do, you can blame them for, not letting you do what you want. I mean, you can always come up with an excuse to blame somebody. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't even apply to parents. You can always find a way to blame somebody, not you. Yeah. Yeah. For example, you can blame them for giving birth to you. I mean, so if you want to blame somebody, you can always come up with something to blame somebody with. Anyway, so let's write a huge catch. Try catch. Have you tried catch, chat? Have you tried catch? Catch is actually pretty epic. Catch C++. It's a unit test framework for C++. Catch 2 is called Catch 2. And it's a single header. It's a single header one. Yes, it's a literally single header that you copy paste into your project, and you have a unit test framework. And to be fair, I never understood why you need a whole framework to do unit testing. But if you want something like that, here it is. My parents would say, I brought you into this life, I can take you out of it. That will teach you not to blame them. Depends on who's stronger, but let's not go into that. Otherwise, we're gonna get banned on Twitch. So, so where can I put my huge try catch? I wonder. Why? Such a good question, my god. That's exactly the question I asked like 10 minutes ago and nobody answered me. Seriously, I wish I knew, but it is what it is. And it isn't what it isn't. So we extract this shit and then we can catch. And this is the problem. Does it take Oh god, please don't tell me catch takes the handler as the second argument. Please don't tell me. My god. You know what that means? Like, it takes the exception as the first argument. That means I have to wrap it like that. My god. No. What's this Lisp? Yes, it's a good question. I agree with you. It's a mother flippin' Lisp. It's a mother flippin' Lisp, but maybe it's time to introduce a state T of some sort. Maybe. So we have a REPL handle, then we print that thingy here and flash it. Input line, and then we read one thing from the REPL. Oh yeah, I remember that clip. It's actually a pretty funny clip. The thing I wanted to do for quite some time already, I wanted to rewrite this part of the signature to be state T, REPL state, IO, nothing. This is what I wanted to do, I think. But I think the monad comes first, I think monad comes first. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that was funny. I think at the time I was actually developing eBisp interpreter. I was actually developing Lisp interpreter, and the song came in, and it was like, what the fuck? No. Import control monad trans state. I think that will work. Hopefully 64. So what do you want from me? Expecting one more argument for IO. Are you sure about that, buddy? Maybe that means I have to swap this thing. 57 and yes. So this is a REPL thread. I officially have that clip running in the loop in the background now. I'm calling the sorting Lisp challenge. So, rect. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Remember. I need to wrap this stuff somehow, but I need a convenient way to do that. There's just no convenient way to do that. Maybe there is. Maybe there is. Okay, I think I'm ready. So, state T. I need the definition of state T. Hello, Sigfold8. Welcome to the stream. Really glad to see you. State T. State T. Why I wanted this? I wanted a way to actually modify the state inside of it. This is how you modify that state. Interestingly enough. So now I don't need to extract that REPL handle everywhere, I think. But maybe I I need it. Okay, so I might as well actually extract it the following way. So you don't have to provide the state here, but you need SQL connection. You need SQL connection. Can I make SQL connection a part of the REPL state? Connection. I think it makes sense to make it a part of the REPL state. So, and how we're gonna do that? A REPL state connection. Depends on how we construct the REPL state. So there's a for fuck's sake, so there's a SQLite file name, but then there's no actual connection. Maybe instead of the file name we have to have a connection of some sort. Maybe we have to have some sort. Arch, what the hell is going on? Thank you for 2000. Like, I have nothing to offer back. You already a mod. So I don't know what to say. Thank you. The only thing I can do, I can continue developing this stuff. Thank you so much. I have no idea. I'm really grateful. But I have nothing to give you back. I'm sorry. I just nothing. Nothing. So here we have with connections in progress, REPL. And so that means that you have to construct a REPL thread. Good for me. Nudes. Arch. Do you want, oh, whatever. Okay. So I can put SQLite file name. I can put it here. So I'm gonna just follow the compiler, right? So the compiler basically is supposed to program for you at this point. So, and you have a init state, and when you provide that init state, how do you even provide all of it? So, funny thing is that he has literally nothing to offer, and I always offer it for free, by the way. I always offer it for free. Interestingly enough, all of this stuff comes kind of like outside of the REPL state. Some of these things can be REPL parameters, I think. We can call them REPL parameters. So maybe it makes sense to introduce them. So yes, you have nothing to offer every Saturday and Sunday. Epic, is it not? REPL params. So what we're gonna have is a REPL params. Something that is created outside of the REPL thread. Everything created outside of the REPL thread is gonna be REPL params. So I'm gonna put this thing here. So this created outside. SQLite connection is not created outside. The current channel is not created outside. Command Q is created outside. It's created to connect commands coming from the REPL to the bot, so it can receive them. Configuration of the Twitch. Do we even use it for anything? What do we use it? We use it for client ID. Sure, I can. Maybe eventually I will get rid of it, but I don't feel like I need it here. Manager is basically the state of the HTTP client. HTTP client has its own state that should be shared between several threads if you do multi-threading stuff. The reason is this thing maintains keep alive connections, and also I guess it has some kind of a cache or whatever. So it's basically the global state of HTTP service or whatever. It's kind of an interesting thing, but you just required to keep this thing around if you want to work with HTTP in that specific library. Okay, so we also have a log queue. Lock queue is basically backdoor queue. Yeah. So I see that. So it's also created outside because you want to specify where exactly it's going to be logging. And connection is also created outside. So these are REPL. So it needs an access to so many things, and oh my god. It's just the complexity is really difficult to handle here. So I'm not sure if it's worth it. I think I'm going in the wrong direction, chat. I think I'm going in the wrong direction. Which makes me slightly sad. I'm gonna actually revert everything, and the idea here is gonna be just wrap everything into catch. Wrap everything into catch. And you have to keep the connection around as well. What if you don't have a connection? If you don't have a connection, you will have to explicitly handle it here, and it creates a lot of problems. It's just overall sad. It's just overall sad state of things. Which means that the only feasible option that I can see right now is to actually do Lisp. Yes, I have to do Lisp. And it will probably... Yes. Let's make a cup of tea. Let's make a cup of tea. Chat. How are you doing, chat? How are you doing, chat? Are you happy with the programming technologies you're using? Because I'm not. Because I'm not happy with Haskell. Not happy with Haskell. It doesn't allow me to do what I really want to do. Why are you not happy though? I don't have enough control over the things I'm doing. I just don't have enough control. I need more control. So in C or C++, I think I would have enough control. But am I gonna become a C++ programmer forever? Which is not a bad idea. Maybe I should stop, chasing different languages and just only use the one. C# has even less control. It's like, I'm saying I need more control and you suggesting less control. No. Thank you. I suppose it's yes. So now we know that Anonymous Cheerer is a C++ fan. As a matter of fact, a very big C++ fan. That's a lot of... you do realize that this is basically my monthly salary. I can just stop streaming and not stream for the rest of the month, and I'm not going to lose anything. You do realize what you're doing. You do realize what you're doing. So, yeah, I can just stop streaming, and for the rest of the month, I can just... Yeah. But to be serious, thank you so much. So I guess I should interpret it as yes, become C++ developer completely, abandon this shitty language. This is how I'm supposed to interpret it. So, I don't know. Should we rewrite KG Vodka in C++? Should we write C? Yeah. Because it would be actually probably easy, I guess. Thank you so much. Of course, I'm not going to stop streaming for the rest of the month because I kind of enjoy streaming. So, okay, I'll donate my
Okay, you will donate my meager 2000
Don't cry.
bitcoins and go cry in the corner now. Cheer 2000.
So, I mean, don't feel sad about it. Don't feel bad about it. But thank you for 2000 as well. Because, I mean, I know exactly that it was you, but in case of anonymous chair, I will never know, so I won't be able to, you know, say thank you personally. So you paid less, but got a personal thank you. I don't know. Is that valuable? I don't know. Like, I have nothing to offer back except, you know, development. Except Haskell development. Except Haskell development. Okay. So I'm gonna do a very stupid thing. With transaction F, accept exceptions in Haskell. Yes. So what are we catching? We're catching. This is the function that we're supposed to get here. And we're catching an exception. And when we're catching an exception, we'll have to access REPL handle. I've never seen a sad Haskell developer. So it could be two things here, right? I am the first Haskell developer that you ever seen, or I'm not a Haskell developer. Because I'm actually kind of sad. I don't really like Haskell that much, and I programmed in it for quite some time already. Maybe it just doesn't fit the things I'm trying to do with it. It just doesn't fit the area that I'm trying to work with it. Sodium becomes the first Haskell to get actually paid. It's not true. As far as I know, Facebook uses Haskell for some stuff. GitHub uses Haskell, and we even know what it uses it for syntax analyzing of different languages, which is actually pretty good application of Haskell, because Haskell is really good at parsing and analyzing different syntaxes. So there are a lot of people who are actually paid for programming in Haskell. So dumb question, but can you actually throw exceptions like in C, C++, or Java? Yes, you can. Or is this just syntax sugar for something else? I have no idea how the second part of the question is related to the first one, to be fair. How is it related? Are you asking a syntactical question or a semantical question? Semantically, yes, you can throw exceptions in Haskell like C++ and Java. Semantically, they are very similar. Syntactically, they're completely different. So, did I answer that question? I don't know. So syntactically, you actually call a function catch and provide a lambda that sort of invoked when an exception happens. So there's no syntax for exceptions. Yes, that's the interesting thing about Haskell. Semantically, they're similar to C++, not C++, C++ and Haskell, but there is no syntax for them. That's why there are library functions that do all this kind of stuff. I think this is the closest description I can come up with, I suppose. Anyways, so hpud strln REPL handle. REPL handle. Then I'm gonna show E. And E is gonna be SQL error, but which is a part of SQLite. Okay, so this is what I've got. And now I have to just go ahead and replace with transaction. Maybe actually we can rename it into something more interesting. How about try with transaction? Try with transaction. With transaction, and we're gonna replace it also needs it also needs DB connection. Okay, let's go back. Try with transaction. It takes DB connection, DB conniption. It takes a DB conniption, and I guess it sort of passes that. SQLite with connection, DB connection F. Oh yeah, this is how it's supposed to be implemented. Yes. Husky people generally say Haskell is good because the functions are not related to state or something like that. I never understood that. They don't understand it either, or they probably don't write anything sophisticated, because anything sophisticated actually requires managing a lot of state. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm managing a lot of state. There's a lot of state in this application, a huge amount of state. And that's what you end up doing. So that's what you end up doing anyway, managing state with transaction. Try with transaction. States are everywhere, yeah. So I'm starting to suspect that people who actually like genuinely like Haskell, there are people in academia that just write parsers all day, because that's the only thing that is enjoyable to write in Haskell. Anything else requires managing a lot of state, and it's not fucking enjoyable whatsoever. So it looks complicated, Archelaus, because I'm using it for things it's not really designed for. That's why. But hey, it's a general purpose programming language. Am I right? So 7, so it doesn't work, by the way. Couldn't match SQLite connection with char. Why are you trying to match it with char? I have no idea. Probably. So I still don't quite understand what the hell is going on. So this is DB connection, this is a function, and oh, and then it will probably return something here. I have no idea where the error coming from. Seriously, I have no idea where the error coming from. Might as well actually specify the signature of this function to be more explicit what I'm trying to achieve, because maybe it doesn't know what I'm trying to achieve. So, and then I expect, oh, it actually depends. Wait a second, are we still listening to, okay, so we're not listening to this thing. At this point, I don't even like a programming language. The programming language where you're talking Haskell is to C++, I made Python, C# and JavaScript. Now I had all then. So try to go to C++, back to C++ then. Maybe you'll enjoy it again. Or maybe not. I don't know. What do I want to say? I forgot. I lost my concentration. I want you to see with connection. I want you to see the implementation of with transaction. With transaction, it takes a connection and IO, and for some reason I assumed that it takes a function when in fact it takes IO. So it takes IO and returns another IO, but does it return anything? It's not supposed to return anything. It just depends on what. Yeah. So we expect something like that, maybe even something like that. So it should have the same signature here. Okay, 69. Yeah, SQLite with transaction. Yes, you see, once I specify the signature that I expect from this function, I instantly found an error here. I don't believe thoughts about learning Husky not only for understanding the stream, but also for general understanding function paradigm. It's kind of interesting. Like, it's just an alternative way of looking at things. Simply alternative way of looking at things, which is pretty useful. Perhaps you meant... No, I actually meant SQLite with transaction and... Oh god. So I misspelled it. Oh, how did I misspell it? How did I misspell it? Transaction. Okay, you see. Oh my god, I'm trying to concentrate. I need to concentrate on getting this thing done. Otherwise, I'm not gonna get anywhere, unfortunately. I'm really sorry about that, chat. I'm really sorry about that. So with transaction, okay, so we can force this thing to be only void, like units. This binding for shadows, the existing one. We can try to get rid of it, and DB connection. We can take that DB connection from some other place. Well, yeah, we can. So basically, yeah, I can simply remove it. 68. So catch. Oh, it doesn't take a connection anymore. Try with connection. 108, and I think. Wait. Finally. Try with connection. I don't have to provide this thing anymore, and I don't have to provide this thing anymore. Like, I'm trying to, I need a lot of concentration to finish this idea that I'm trying to come up, and I also try to pay attention to the chat. I'm really sorry, chat. I'm gonna ignore you for a couple of minutes because I really need to concentrate. Like, every time I'm like distracting myself, I'm losing the whole track of things, and I have to start over and over again. This is really painful. So I really need to concentrate on what I'm doing. Oh god, okay. So with... Okay, I think I got rid of the all with transactions. So this is the only place where I use this kind of thing. And now everywhere we use try with transaction, which will fail if you try to... log the transaction, okay. Try with transaction. Maybe it would be actually better. We can rename it to something. Okay, so what's going on? Website event architecture bound to Python, like and doing something. The concept of peer function and avoiding share state works very well in other languages too. Yes, because in those languages you always have mechanism to resort back into stateful computations when you really need to. Imagine pure functional programming language where you don't have anything but pure functions. And now turn this into religion. Like, everything has to be pure, 100%. And if it's not pure, it does not belong to this language. There you go. The Haskell. Pure function programming turned into a religion. That somehow has exceptions. Like, I just don't understand this part. Like, it somehow has exceptions. What is state ripples current channel? Nothing. It is syntax for modifying records. It doesn't really modify the record. It doesn't mutate it. It creates a new record. What is brackets part? Oh, you genuinely don't know the record modifying syntax. Okay, so, all right. I thought you're just being, you know, sarcastic. I can explain you if you never heard about it. Sure, I can explain it. You have a record. Data foo, and then you have foo a. The first field of the record is, let's say, integer. The second one is string. and this third one is double, whatever. So, and you have a record that looks like this. So you have foo A equal 10, foo B equal hui, and foo C equal something, something, whatever. So there is a syntax that enables you with modifying records by doing something like that. And this thing will be equal to the original record, but with foo A replaced with 20. It's just a convenient syntax to update a field inside of the record. That's it. That's pretty much it. How about that? So, does it answer your question? It's pretty convenient syntax. Nush. Okay. Let's continue. I want to rename this function, by the way. I want to rename this function. Try with syntax, with transaction. With transaction. Yeah, I know how I'm going to call it. I'm going to query replace try with transaction with transaction log error. So, what's funny is that, oh my god, I fucked it up. Okay. Query replace. So query replace one more time. Please try with transaction. I'm gonna take this thing, I'm gonna put it here, and I'm gonna take this thing and I'm gonna capitalize the T here, and I'm gonna replace it everywhere with transaction log errors. But why are we using just with transaction? Because yeah, it's just with transaction log errors. Capitalize T. I mean, I have a lot of T. It's actually, I think this bag becomes smaller, but I have a lot of T, and what would be considered capitalization of T? Just selling it out, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. With transaction log errors. Can you smoke T? Technically, yes. But should you? Don't think so. Doesn't sound like a good idea to me. I didn't think, like, at the temperature of smoking, at which temperature caffeine starts to decompose? Does caffeine even vaporizes? So it's like maybe there is no even point to smoke because the caffeine is not gonna vaporize and go into your lungs or anything into your system. It may at that temperature basically decompose into useless compounds and nothing. So there is a point in smoking tobacco. Well, you shouldn't smoke, by the way, yes. But I'm just explaining why people do that, because at that temperature, as far as I know, nicotine turns into one with oxides, right? Which then get into your system and they recover in your blood into nicotine back. As far as I can understand, this is how it works. But I'm not a chemist, but this is at least what I heard. But does it work exactly with the caffeine? Probably not. I do not endorse smoking, by the way. It's a really bad habit. It's really difficult to get rid of it. Even if it vaporizes, can lux absorb? Yeah, that's another interesting question. I have no idea. Maybe. So far, humanity found one efficient way of, ingesting caffeine by dissolving it in water and then drinking that water. As far as we know, this is the most efficient way of taking caffeine. Nobody came up with a better way, so why would we need it? It's the safest way to do that, and it's the most pleasant way to do that, as a matter of fact. So, yeah. There's no point in smoking tea. Energetic drinks, that's exactly what I said. It's a caffeine dissolved in water. So, I don't know what you're trying to say there, but that's exactly what I said. Coffee is a caffeine dissolved in water. Tea is a caffeine dissolved in water. Energy drinks is a caffeine dissolved in water. It's the same way of taking caffeine. That's it. Caffeine pill might be different. Yes, this might be different. I guess you're right, MSX66. MSSX69. Okay. Coffee cake. But cake also has water in it. Is it not? I don't know, so the most comfortable way for me to taking caffeine is just through coffee or tea. So I guess I implemented the thing that I wanted to implement, and I just need to test it out, chat. Let me kill the bot, and it actually immediately disconnected me from the bot. Vesuvius UA, thank you for 100 bitcoins. Epic, absolutely epic. Thank you. 69. Okay, so let's join a fast chat. Fast chat. SD, boom, and I didn't join it though. I just CD'd into it. Okay. Now I'm gonna join it, and now my lock is going nuts. And now if I try to add CMD, it will say that the shed is locked, and now I can try to assign a role to, let's say, iGoodDoug. What kind of role I want to assign? I'm going to assign trusted iGoodDoug. No such role exists. Wait a second. What if I try to add role trusted? I cannot add role like that. My God. So it actually had an opportunity to query something in the database. That's unbelievable. Such role does not exist. How does it? Wait a second. Isn't S role supposed to make a query to the database? Reading actually worked. So it throws locked not at the point of with transaction. I thought with transaction throws the exception. I think it throws the exception at this point. Actually, it throws the exception inside of the transaction if transaction becomes a write transaction. If the whole transaction was just read, it will never be blocked. So this thing DDoSes us, but not completely. We're still capable of reading the state of the bot, but not really modifying it. So we only got denial of service of modifying the state of the bot, but not reading it. And we're using SQLite, and we're actively being DDoSed right now. SQLite, so I think it's pretty cool, in my opinion. I think it's kind of cool. Imagine if we wrote that in C++ with SQLite, how way faster it would be. It's actually pretty cool. Like, I really like pushing boundaries of SQLite and what you can do with it. It's actually a very powerful database, even though it's just an embedded one. And keep going. And it keeps going because of probably the queue. It just goes through the queue of Haskell or something. Oh, by the way, do we have destroy computers here? Remember who was attending the Voodoo stream, the yesterday stream? At the end of the stream, we started to do, you know, concurrency, and I was already tired to do that. I did a little bit of concurrency on Voodoo. So I didn't commit anything. I would just tried concurrency a little bit. I'm gonna reproduce everything I did today on the next Voodoo stream, so you're not gonna lose anything. But I'm just gonna give a teaser for the next Voodoo stream. I implemented just a simple queue between saving thread and rendering thread. Just a simple queue, like didn't try to be fancy or anything, just want to see how it goes. It worked really well. It was a ring buffer, simple ring buffer. If ring buffer is full, the rendering thread waits until writing thread will clean it up. And if it's empty, the writing thread will wait until it fills up. So it sort of blocks on its sides. You know what I've found? Around 80% of the time, the application writing to hard drive. The rendering, filling up memory with pixels, is a fucking 1 second. Like it's super fast. It's less than 1 second. Super fucking fast. Once I unlocked it from reading to files, and the rest of the time, it creates fucking files. That's what I found. That was unbelievable. Like it's so fast. The bottleneck of all of the renderers might be the fucking file system. Just saving that shit to the file system is so slow, but generating all that stuff. So yeah, basically I created a system where I quickly fill up memory with the render threads, and then slowly and tediously like save that stuff into the hard drive. Yeah, that's what Node.js is trying to solve. I suppose, yeah, maybe. And that was interesting. We're gonna explore that a little bit further on Voodoo stream, but that was actually pretty interesting. Like I didn't expect that. And I wonder what is going to happen if we parallelize the saving thread, the output thread. Because here's my theory. Like if I understand how operating system works, I'm not an expert in how they work, but I heard that operating system have a cache of the file system in the memory. So, right, if you write into the file, operating system, in fact, may not actually write it in the hard drive. It will write it into the cache, and then it will put it into hard drive when whatever, like when, you know, something schedules and actually put it there. So usually writing into the memory. I wonder, doesn't that enable us with parallelizing of writing several files? So I can just, you know, in separate threads create a lot of files, and operating system will automatically, you know, parallelize that into writing it into memory, and then later it will just put it into the hard drive. So I'm just trying to justify parallelizing the thread that saves files. Is it even justified? I have a feeling that it does justify it. Open close is slow, writing is fast. Oh, that's very interesting. But doesn't that make the cache invalidate quite fast? I don't know. That's exactly why I said that I'm not really expert in this kind of thing. I just describe the information that I know about operating system. And I don't know, maybe it does invalidate the cache quite fast, and maybe it depends on the file system, maybe it depends on the operating system. And there's also this controller cache, yeah. You can take a look at the lib event or libuv from Node.js for async IO in C. That would be interesting to watch. I don't think lib event is about the thing, is about what I'm trying to do there. Anyway. So, okay. So that was a teaser for the next Voodoo stream, and yeah, to know when we're gonna do Vodus, you can check out the schedule. So let's continue with the Husky stuff. All right, so we still can read this stuff. I guess we need to create the role first to actually experience the blockage of the database. The blockage of the database. I'm going to go to empty data, and where do I have my roles? What is the schema of the roles? To which user, let's actually do it like that, which user roles, and here's the schema. We insert into Twitch user roles. No, it's Twitch roles. Yes, Twitch roles. The schema of Twitch roles. Twitch roles. Insert into Twitch roles. Name, values, I suppose trusted. And now we have something. If I select everything from Twitch roles, there's one trusted there. Nice. So now if I connect to my REPL yet again and I join the very fast channel, so just join, so, and I will try to assign a role epic to iGoodDoug. I won't be able to because that role does not exist, but if I try to assign role trusted, it will say that database is blocked because I will try to write into that database once I figure it out that that role exists. Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about. So you see, to check that role doesn't exist, you don't need to write into the database. But once you trying to write there, it's going to be blocked instantly. Let's part the channel. Then can I still assign role trusted to iGoodDoug? Can I still assign it? It's still busy. The database is still busy. Role trusted iGoodDoug. And now I can do that. So you see, it successfully assigned that role. And if I go to SQLite wrap, let's say rel wrap it, and select from Twitch user roles, you will be able to see the ID of iGoodDoug here. So everything looks okay. So it is possible to DDoS that bot. It is possible, but there are still some things that are possible when you're being DDoSed. So we kind of know the limitations of our bot. So we're exploring those limitations, which is cool. Which is pretty cool. We might as well actually introduce some kind of a feature that disables logging without accessing the database. So it's basically a memory variable that you can easily switch at runtime through a REPL, and it will stop, logging anything, and that will unblock the database in case of emergency. Some kind of emergency switch, like stop, spamming the database and let me do something. Then you will be manually able to switch it back and do something like that. So, yeah. I don't plan to do anything with this behavior so far. It's just important to be aware of what your bot is capable of and what is not capable of. So I think it's quite important. Okay, so 58. So here we have 58. It will be also pretty epic to somehow parallelize that bot. I mean, it's already parallel. It's not really parallelized, it's concurrent, but it would be great to handle some stuff in parallel. Oh, what's cool is that you can probably easily generate Markov chains in a separate thread, because generating Markov messages does not require writing into the database. So you can do that while some other thread writes into the database. So while somebody writes in the database, you can simultaneously generate Markov chains, because the wall mod does not block that, which is pretty cool. Okay. So don't crash the REPL connection on database locked error, something like that. Okay, I'm gonna keep the fast chat. Okay, and another interesting thing is that what if the database is locked at the bot side, right? What if it is blocked on the bot side? So DB connection. So here's the DB connection that we're trying to use, and what's gonna happen if it's blocked? Where is the transaction? So here's the transaction. And before doing anything in the database, this is not REPL anymore. This is the main bot, the bot that actually spams the database. This is where we spam the database. So what do? We flash the whole queue to get a bunch of messages. We get a bunch of messages, and we process that messages in bulk within a single transaction. We don't create a single transaction per message. We receive several messages, open transaction, and handle them in bulk within the single transaction. The reason we do that is because it's faster. I measured it myself. Yes, it is faster. Because opening and closing transaction apparently is extremely expensive operation. So if you process things in bulk, it just becomes faster. Yeah, interesting. I discovered it when I was, working with this kind of stuff, and it was actually surprising. For me, because I don't have really much experience with databases, but still. You need to introduce marker request queue then, am I right? Maybe, we'll see, it depends. Maybe I'm gonna completely rewrite marker for implementation. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? Anyway. So with transaction, so if the database blocked and we already flushed the queue, so we have a bunch of messages, are we gonna lose a chunk of messages? Are we okay with losing a chunk of messages? Because here, if the database is blocked, we're not losing a single message. We're losing a chunk of messages. Is that acceptable? Is that acceptable? I just discovered that I'm alone in the chat. It's so scary. How did you discover that? Like, chat is dead again. I'm really sorry I got that. I banned everybody. Banned everybody. I'm not banned. Ah, okay. Revive. I think it was resurrect. I can add revive chat. Let's add revive chat. Add cmd revive. Has been revived. Okay. There's no such thing as being alone on a planet that holds more than 7 billion individuals. You don't know that. It's somebody who told you that there is 7 billion individuals, but you didn't count them yourself. It's like with round Earth. Have you ever seen with your own eyes that the Earth is flat? You only seen it on the pictures, on the screen, but you've never seen it yourself. The same thing. You never counted each individual person on the planet. And you don't know yourself that there are 7 billion of them. So all of that can be a lie. You cannot just prove that, right? You cannot personally know that everything consists of atoms. You cannot know that. It's somebody who told you that, right? And you cannot check it yourself unless you have an access to some kind of equipment, but you don't. Guess why? In fact, if you think about it, there's a lot of things that we accept as the truth that you cannot actually verify yourself personally in a day-to-day life. You rely on somebody verifying it for you, which is kind of interesting, is it not? I'm not claiming that those things are not true, by the way. It's just interesting to think about that. It is interesting to think that everything, like many things that you accept as a truth, you just cannot verify it yourself. You need somebody else or a group of people or something or some equipment or whatever. You don't need to work. Yes, that's another interesting thing I could do. That's a cool one. You just don't need that. Just like the fact that you know, there's 7 billion people, or maybe there's 5 billion, does not change your life whatsoever. These are things that they're like noise or something. I don't know. It's like it reminds me about like you know, Sherlock Holmes, who didn't know that Earth is round because he didn't need that information for his work, right? So in the original Sherlock Holmes books, so it was said that Sherlock Holmes doesn't know that Earth was round, because this information is sort of irrelevant for what he's doing, which is very interesting. Very interesting approach to this kind of information. Hello, Zingrims, welcome to the stream. It is not verified by you personally, anyway. Yeah. But does it really matter? Does it matter? It depends on what you're doing, yes. On the other hand, there's no really like a reason for this information to be false anyway, right? Whatever, just interesting things to think about. What I was doing. Are we okay with losing a bunch of messages? Are we okay with that? So here we update this kind of thing. Can I put stuff back into the queue? So for example, if the database is locked, I may just try not to process that and process it later. Well, I remember that he didn't need to know that Earth... Ah! Yeah, I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. It was something about, like, you know, basic school knowledge. Yeah, something like around the sun, or if it was flat or round. Yeah, so something like that. The information that we accept true, but it doesn't affect our day-to-day life whatsoever. For the majority of people, right? If you're a person who studies this kind of thing, like astrophysicist, it probably does matter for you, but for the majority of people don't. So, will you do a YouTube video about concurrency in Haskell maybe? Well, once I learn how to do concurrency in Haskell, yes. Because so far I don't know how to do concurrency in Haskell. So, as a matter of fact, I have no idea how to do concurrency in general, like at all. I don't know how to do parallelism, concurrency, I don't know how to do them. And so far it's extremely difficult. Well, I mean, right before the stream, I wrote like a queue, thread safe queue between two threads to offload some work from one thread to another. It sped up the application. It worked exactly as I expected, and I'm still not sure if I know concurrency. Like, I can do things that involve threads, but I'm not even sure if I do what I mean I do. Like, I'm not really sure if I know what I'm doing. That's what I'm saying. So, what are we doing? What I was about to do, chat. Does anybody remember? I got distracted by chat again, and what I'm doing. What I'm doing. I wanted to check for something. I wanted to check for the queue. Yes, STM. There we go. That's what I wanted to check for. STM. Show me STM. What about queue? So can I push this shit back? Well, I mean, I can pick. Oh, okay. So you can pick version of which does not unget. Ooh, put a data item back onto channel where it will be the next item read. Well, what's interesting is that if it would be actually quite convenient if it failed instantly when I opened transaction if it blocked, because then I would be able to read the queue inside of the transaction. So I could flash the queue inside of the transaction. If I couldn't open transaction, it would not even flash it, so it's going to be there for me until it's done. But at the same time, the queue will grow indefinitely. Does it have any kind of limit? I have no idea. Maybe it's okay at this particular point to just drop those messages if at this particular time we just cannot process them. Just forget about those messages. Is that a good idea? Like if the database is locked, just forget about them. But it's gonna happen in a very rare occasion, so probably never gonna happen. Probably never gonna happen, but if it happens, it will just drop them. So we can argue that just hold them for some time, but if that happened, we already, you know, overflowed the queue with useless information. So yeah. But if an error happens in the bot thread will instantly die, and there will be no way to resurrect the bot unless actually restarting it. And that's the thing. Maybe we should let the bot die here, and then we're gonna have a supervisor that will just resurrect it in case of a locked database. Interesting. I think it's a good idea. Let it crash, am I right? Let it crash. We're slowly actually turning this stuff into Erlang as far as I can tell. So where's my entry point? So it's not quite important if the REPL thread dies, because you can always reconnect yourself. But it's just annoying, and that's why we don't reconnect when it dies because of the locked message. But if bot dies, there's no way for me to reset it. So, and here's the thing. I want to introduce like a to-do that says there's no supervisor that restarts essential threads on crashing. So yeah, we will need to introduce some kind of a supervisor, and I'm gonna claim this 58th issue done. I'm more or less happy with how you know, bot handles the database problems, I suppose. Yeah. Okay, let's do the following thing. Let's create a pull request, chat. Let's create a pull request. God damn it! So it's kind of annoying. Let's create to do. Let's push that into the repo. HLint src. Let's take a look at HLint. What does HLint say? It does say a couple of strange things. So we don't need that shit anymore. Oh, you can just hprint apparently. Hprint without using any show. That's pretty epic, I would say. No, thank you, HLint. Very cool. Thank you, HLint. Very cool. That's epic. All right, so yeah, you could just print that thing there, and there we go. 58. Fix HLint remarks. Oh, hi remark. And let's go into hident. So we're gonna find src, type file name hs, and execute hident on it. There we go. So it reformatted it a little bit as far as I can tell. It's probably sorted imports. No, not really. It just wrapped around. Why does it always do that? It's so stupid, but whatever. It is what it is. Fix hident remarks. Fix HID and remarks, and let's just push that right into the REPL. Yeah, I think we're good to go. I'm more or less happy with this shite. Did I say push into the REPL? Ah, okay, so they just sound similar. Okay. Close 58. And we are ready, boys and girls, to actually... Oh, these are the emotes, I see. These are the emotes. Ah, it prints, yeah, it prints those emotes? No. Ah! It's your... Okay, it's, okay, I'm confused, whatever. What I was doing, I don't remember. I forgot what I was doing. Fuck. I don't remember what I was doing. I don't remember. I forgot. I wanted to do something and I don't remember what I was doing, like, because I got distracted by some stupid logs. Did I want